How long have we been waiting for this day, Daniel Lewa? This has been the Lego set that I've been anticipating for months and months, and now it has been officially revealed. The Lego X Mansion Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters. And Daniel Lewa first saw this, he thought,
it's awesome.
No, but in all seriousness, we are going to conversate and ask ourselves this question. Now that we have pictures, is this a set that we are actually going to buy? And it looks to me, Daniel Lewa, that this is actually a modular compatible building.
Yeah, it definitely is. The proportions are a little interesting, and it is on 3 half base plates, so it's going to fit in a modular layout.
We knew they had to make compromises. We knew that they couldn't do the whole school epic large unless it's going to be like a $500 set. We were hypothesizing that corners were going to be cut, proportions were going to be changed. They did so with the Sanctum Sanctorum. And personally, I think that turned out fantastic. So visually, it looks awesome. It looks straight out of XMEN. That's what this set is primarily based off, is the XMEN 90s animated TV series, continued in XMEN 97 in this modern day, which, by the way, watch it now. Best superhero TV show I've ever seen in my life.
The expectations for this set, ever since we had any idea that LEGO wanted to make a set like this, have been so astronomically high because of the pedigree that the X-Men have and the type of set that this could be. Like Methuselah said, going all the way back to the 90s and that original show, and even comics before that, of course. And now with X-Men 97 being the peak superhero storytelling that it was, it just set the expectations for this type of a set so unrealistically high that even if it's going to be, an A tier, S tier set, it would be hard to live up to those expectations. But that being said, I think it looks really nice. It's just interesting that it's so similar to the very most recent modular being the Natural History Museum.
Okay, but could you section out the Natural History Museum into 9 sections like this? That's where I think this is unique from other modular buildings.
It's really unique that you can do that, and I kind of love it, even though it does make each individual space smaller. Being able to have 6+ unique spaces can be really advantageous in just cramming as much little detail and possible rooms in as you can.
Yeah, it's gonna be crammed with detail. We're not gonna go into every little Easter egg here, but we've seen things in the images like the Danger Room, like Cerebro, and those super iconic things that you would want from this set.
So, Methuselah, as a huge, ginormous Marvel fan, Lego Marvel fan, X-Men fan, is this X-Mansion live up to your expectations?
I love the X-Men franchise in the comic books. That's what, to me, really differentiates Marvel from any other company, the DC, Image Comics, whoever. The X-Men are such a unique invention. They have so many rich storylines, so many deep characters. So finally getting X-Men related Lego sets, I'm just chomping at the bit. Oh, a $90 Blackbird, give me that. Oh, a $15 Wolverine mech. It's our first Wolverine in a while. I'm gonna grab that Wolverine. And that's one of the things that makes it all the more frustrating. We were never getting Lego X-Men sets for such a long time. Probably there were issues with Fox or whatever. So now that we're actually getting them and Lego's quote unquote giving it to us, it makes it all the more disappointing when something's not the way you like it. And we don't want to be little whiny nitpick baby criers, but there are just a few things that I saw when I first saw this and I'm like, wait, why?
How do you think it looks? Is it displayable?
The X-Mansion doesn't have one singular look in media, but you can tell based on, if you look at like X-Men 97, X-Mansion, that's where they took this color scheme. Nice looking dark bricks. To me, Lego buildings aren't my favorite part about Lego ever, but this, I think, is going to be an amazing home base display-wise for X-Men and X-Men adjacent characters going down the line. That's what the best thing about Avengers Tower, Daily Bugle, and Sanctum Sanctorum are. Those adjacent characters all accumulate to those locations and to those displays, and you can go crazy with it. And this will be the perfect place to do that.
I totally agree. And it does look like a really nice school, university, similar to places that I've gone to school. And so it's kind of cool to finally have that in a modular layout. And I think it looks really nice, especially because it takes that X-Men 97 look.
Price, value, and pieces. How are you feeling about that category?
It's rough because it has the same footprint as the Natural History Museum. And it's a similar kind of neoclassical layout and everything, 2 stories. It's very easy to compare visually between the two. This has about 1,000 pieces fewer than the museum. Now, I'm not sure where those all went because it looks fairly comparable in size, but it's more expensive than the museum. This is $330, while the museum is 300 for over 4,000 pieces. If we're just looking at price to piece, that really isn't great, especially when considering other offerings. However, this is an IP-driven set, and of course, there's going to be some licensing deal having to go along with that.
If you will tell me right here and now that I can get a Lego Iceman and Gambit in my Natural History Museum, I'll go ahead and take the higher value option, which would be the Natural History Museum, okay? Because sometimes I say the minifigures is what holds value a lot of the time. Now, I don't think that's a reason why a set should be vastly more expensive, but between the two, I think I know which one I'm gonna take.
I think the value is here. When you compare it with other Marvel sets at this price point, look at the Daily Bugle at a very similar price. Yeah, the size is a little differently distributed. There are a lot more minifigures in that one, however, and I think that's what has set our expectation for Marvel Modular so high, is because things like the Daily Bugle and Avengers Tower are just shoving as many possible figures in your face.
Well, though the Sanctum and X Mansion have only named main characters, not any SWAT agents, writers' room people, Chitaris, or anything. So I'm totally fine with trimming the fat and getting just the core characters. But let's talk about the minifigures, because that's what's the most important thing about any Lego set, obviously. And let's go one by one, please. Of course, you have to include Wolverine in any X-Men set if you want to move units. For all the Wolverine fans, he's one of the original classic 3 big Marvel superheroes. Doesn't look as good as the one we got in the CMF Series 2. So it's a little bit of a downgrade in my book.
Up next, Rogue. It looks to be the identical Rogue that we saw in the X-Jet from earlier this year, which is a little bizarre because don't you want to have reasons to buy the X-Jet? Doesn't Lego want to have reasons for people to want to buy it, especially at such a crazy price?
It's a little bit frustrating because, yeah, the X-Jet accompanies this well, and we have that minifigure. Would have been nice to maybe get one more villain. I would probably say Rogue is the one to omit because we have that one in the exact same figure, and include a villain, something classic, Sabretooth, whatever. Speaking of the X-Jet, though, we have Cyclops, which surprisingly is a bit of an upgrade from the X-Jet version, where he actually has some leg printing now. Interesting. I'm all for it.
I think it's important for his character. Yellow trousers are pretty important to his visual look, I think.
And then we have Iceman, which is just one of the, I think, the funnest inclusion in this, because you don't think of him as the core X-Men 90s series cast, even though he does make appearances, but he look primarily all white, and I am just super happy for this inclusion. This could be a minifigure that only appears in this set, I would hypothesize.
And the pure white works pretty well for him, and I think it adds some visual pop to this.
Let's go next to Jean Grey. To me, I was a little bit underwhelmed. It's serviceable. It's serviceable. Volkswagen Passat. It's nothing crazy, and it works as a minifigure, and you may be able to go, oh, that is Jean Grey. She could have benefited from a little bit more leg printing, a little bit of something to really spice up this iconic character.
I mean, a lot of these character designs in the 90s show are very simplistic, but these simplify them maybe too much. Interesting inclusion of the 90s pantsuit shoulder pads aren't quite on par with how the character should look, but it gets the idea across.
We have our first Charles Xavier Professor X minifigure. Why is he wearing a blue suit? That's all we really want to know at this point. His iconic look has always been a green suit. Patrick Stewart, when he reprised his role in Multiverse of Madness, was wearing a green suit. Yes, Charles Xavier has worn a blue suit. He has done it in the live action movies sometimes as well. I don't understand the choice of him wearing a blue suit, specifically in the set when it's supposed to be reminiscent of the 90s series. Really disappointed. I'm really sad about this, and I don't get it. The Lego group, get it together. I'm frustrated because we finally got a Professor X minifigure.
It's so strange because it's not like they're having to use preconceptual concept art for this. This was from the 90s, you know? It's like they took the green pigment from Jason Sindola's hair, put it on Saw Gerrera, and took the blue that should have been on Saw Gerrera's torso and put it on this guy. Like, it's so bizarre. Why are they doing the things they're doing sometimes? But
he has his iconic wheelchair. That's great. He has Cerebro. That's great. Not trying to lose that many brain cells over it. All we can hope at this point is we'll get another Professor X down the line who may be a green suit variant for us green suit fans. But to keep things bright and positive, we have Gambit, who personally I think looks like an awesome
Yes.
figure. Maybe Daniel Lewa will tell us he needs a cloth piece or not. I think he looks great just as is. He's learned Shatter Spin. He's throwing his cards, and it's our first Gambit minifigure. Couldn't be more happy.
I think it does look pretty awesome. Sure, any character could pretty much benefit from a little cloth detailing here or there, but for what it is, especially in comparison to some of the lackluster other characters in this, Gambit really shines out.
Some of these characters could benefit from a little bit more dual molded legs. For example, Gambit could have had dual molded legs 100%. Wolverine, Cyclops, all could have had dual molded legs. Storm has her long hair now, also a 90s, not a 97 type thing, which is great if you prefer that classic look of Storm. So I'm glad they did that and not her mohawk again from the collectible minifigure series. However, it's hard to top the collectible minifigure series version. Maybe it would have been nice to get her black suit that she got in X-Men 97, so we have more variety, but I'm all for this long-haired classic version of Storm. And then we have Bishop. Bishop's inclusion is very surprising, but very, very welcomed. Reminds me of Days of Future Past from the 90s series, and he is just a dope Marvel character. His figure looks actually really good. Like, the printing looks really good. His iconic scarf, yellow stripes. It looks almost perfect. Biggest thing here is his biggest thing, which is his massive biceps. Why is he sleeved in this minifigure? One of his defining character traits are his big, massive biceps that are just searing through his short-sleeved shirt. Looks like they decided to give him a long-sleeve shirt, probably for the sake of budget saving. A little bit disappointing because that is one of his defining things.
And last, but certainly not least, the majestic return of our favorite good guy goes bad guy, goes bad guy, goes good guy, whatever. Magneto himself.
Oh, thank goodness this set came with Magneto in his classic 90s TV show look. I honestly don't mind the zesty Magneto that we got in the X-Jet. And now that's basically the only real exclusive minifigure to that set, I guess, because the rest are in here, and Cyclops is even better in here, but whatever. For anybody who never had the opportunity to get the 2012 Deadpool chopper of this Magneto in his red suit, now we have an actual chance in the modern day and age to get classic-looking Magneto. Love it. Accompanied by the other villainous part of this set, the Sentinel, which they built to kind of be to scale to the minifigures a little bit. Maybe a real-life Sentinel would probably be taller than this compared to a minifigure. It's a pretty good scale and pretty essential, good choice for this set to make it scream even more, hey, this is X-Men.
It does make it feel more like this is the X-Men set to get. It has a little of everything. And Sentinel is such an important part of X-Men's story. So it's pretty awesome they included it here, and they didn't do like a Lego Jabba Sail Barge Desert Skiff DLC where you have to get all these things separately in order to get kind of the whole story. Yeah, you have the X-Jet if you want to, but I think having the Sentinel here is a great inclusion, and even color-wise adds a lot of vibrancy to what otherwise is kind of a more neutral tone look.
I will say I would also like a more fleshed out Sentinel, a little bit bigger, a little bit more piece count fleshed out. $40, $50 down the road as its own set.
Master mold.
Oh, man. The amount of X-Men sets they can make and the amount of X-Men characters that we need is just astounding. So that's why I'm happy about this set, because it looks like it's solid as a build. First and foremost, that's the most important thing, because we're going to get more X-Men characters down the line. We can add them to this, and it is going to be your home base for all the mutants and mutant adjacent characters. Super excited. November 1st couldn't come any sooner. Do you have any other gripes or compliments for this Lego set, Danielle Lewa?
I think we've said pretty much everything. The minifigs being the real kind of iffy zone, some great, some really not great there, but the build itself looks fantastic for any modular fan, for any X-Men fan. Like, I'm hearing the X-Men theme in my head right now. It's getting me hyped, you know? So I think I would say, yes, this is one to get. I think it's worth it. Yes, it is expensive, but the question here is, like, should you get it if you have the extra money? This, I think, is a win for Marvel fans everywhere.
I'll answer yes as well. I will actually be buying this. Main highlights for me: Gambit, Magneto, Cyclops, Iceman. Having those four is enough of a selling point, and then having this iconic location. So we can nitpick at the small things, but overall it will be a confirmed yes purchase. So that is Methuselah and Daniel Lewa approved, and we are picky with our Lego Marvel sets sometimes. So what would you do though? Are you going to be buying the Lego X Mansion, or are you going to be putting it in the trash can with the rest of your trash Lego Marvel sets like Venomized Brew.
There's something out there for everybody. No hate to any of your favorite sets. But we would love to thank all of our awesome channel members for supporting this channel, namely Stay Sad, Mary Kay, I Am Lidme, Dr. Dan PhD, Uncle Norm, Uncle Mike, Richie Raid, Oliver J. the Ginger Lender, and MC Goat. You guys are all goated. If you made it this far in the video, put Trubbish down in the comments below and you'll be recognized as a real one.